Have you ever really stopped to think about why you are the way you are? You know, the little quirks and habits that make up your personality? Well, today, we're going to do just that. We're going to take a closer look at some really common traits and maybe see them in a totally new light. Let's dive right in.
Okay, so I want you to think about these three types of people for a second. First, you've got the quiet thinker, the one who'd rather have a deep conversation than be at a loud party. Then there's the strong friend, the person everyone, and I mean everyone, leans on. And finally, the chronic apologizer, who seems to say sorry for just existing. Do any of those sound like you, or maybe someone you know? Well, hold that thought, because we're about to flip the script on what these traits actually mean.
All right, first up, the quiet person. We're diving into what we're calling the architecture of quietude. And that's because, being quiet isn't about being empty inside. Far from it. It's about having this incredibly rich, complex world going on upstairs.
So this is a big one that people get wrong all the time. The common view is that quiet people are antisocial, right? Or maybe withdrawn. But here's the thing, the psychological reality is pretty much the opposite. They're not running away from connection. They are desperately searching for a deeper connection. And that small talk stuff, it just doesn't cut it.
And it's not some kind of social flaw either. It's actually a cognitive preference. Think of it like this. Their brain is just wired differently, It's built for these big, abstract, layered thoughts. So for them, a really deep one-on-one talk is like plugging into a charger. But small talk? It's like a total battery drain.
So you see, it's not about avoiding people at all. It's about seeking something specific. They might be craving that abstract thought, or needing those more complex conversations. Or maybe they just need that alone time to sort through their feelings and get some clarity. Whatever it is, there's always a reason, a purpose behind the quiet.
Okay, let's switch gears to our next profile, and you'll start to see how these ideas connect. We're talking about that person who is always there for everyone else. This is the burden of the caretaker.
From the outside, they look like the dependable rock, don't they? Strong, stable, the one you can always count on. But what's really going on under the surface is a whole different story. Often, this person has this deep, quiet belief that their worth, their value, whether they're loved, is tied directly to how useful they are to other people.
And there's actually a psychological term for where this comes from. It's called split maturity. Basically, it happens when someone has to grow up way too fast. As a kid, they learned a really tough lesson, and they learned it early. To keep everyone else afloat, your own feelings have to be put on the back burner. They just have to come last.
And that leads us perfectly into our third and final profile. This one might just be the most misunderstood of them all. Let's talk about the apology as a shield.
Think about it. We're so quick to see someone who's always apologizing and just think, oh, they're weak or they have no confidence. But what if we're totally missing the point? What if it's not a weakness at all? What if it's actually a really, really sophisticated survival mechanism they've learned over time?
Yeah, this quote right here really hits home. Their safety becomes tied to being useful or low maintenance. Just let that sink in for a second. An apology in this world has nothing to do with being guilty. It's a tool. It's a way to calm things down, to keep the peace, to make yourself smaller so you're not a problem for anyone. It's all about feeling safe.
And this often starts way back, with being what you'd call the easy child. They figured out pretty young that their job was to just not add any more stress to an already stressful situation. So they adapted. They became the peacekeeper. And they learned that saying "I'm sorry" was a surprisingly effective way to keep everything from falling apart.
Okay, so we've looked at the quiet thinker, the strong friend, and the chronic apologizer. On the surface, they seem like three totally different people, right? But now we're going to tie it all together with one big idea. This is the blueprint of adaptation.
So what's the connection here? What's the one thing that links the person who needs quiet, the one who always gives, and the one who always apologizes?
It all comes down to one word: adaptation. Look at this pattern. The thinker, they're adapting to their internal world, to a brain that's just wired for depth. The caretaker is adapting to a deep emotional need to feel useful and secure. And the apologizer, they're adapting to their external world, to an environment that needed them to be the peacekeeper.
And this is the big takeaway, the thing I really want you to hear. These things we've been talking about, they are not character flaws. Not at all. They are signs that you are a master of adaptation. Each one of these people has developed incredible, specialized skills to survive in their world. It isn't weakness. It's proof of just how resilient you are.
So I want to leave you with this one last thought. Just really sit with it for a moment. What if your greatest flaws aren't flaws at all? What if they're actually your oldest, most powerful survival skills? The very things that got you here. Something to think about.